Welcome back to Charlie Brown Politics. I am your host, Charles Brown. If you're new to the channel, we cover the presidential election here. We're covering the presidential race, but we are doing it through the lens of the working class and the poor people. So if you're into that kind of thing, please like, subscribe, hit the little bell notification. Today's topic is going to be Bernie Sanders. He went on a recent show with Todd on CNN, and they had a lot of things to discuss, and eventually they're going to talk about Cornel West. And the things that Bernie says about Cornel West might upset you, or will it? So let's just jump into it, shall we?
Welcome back. Back in April, Senator Bernie Sanders, who of course was Biden's chief rival in the 2020 Democratic primaries, ruled out a third presidential bid and endorsed Biden for re-election. But on Saturday, Sanders was back in New Hampshire, one of those early presidential states where he won both the 2016 and 2020 primaries, to share what he called his concrete agenda for the future of the Democratic Party at the New Hampshire Institute of Politics. Of course, when you go to New Hampshire, it sparks some speculation about his own political future.
It is no secret that I want Joe Biden to be reelected president. If that is going to happen, if we are going to defeat creeping authoritarianism and right-wing extremism, there has got to be an ideological change of course.
The independent senator from Vermont, Bernie Sanders, joins me now. Senator Sanders, welcome back to Meet the Press.
Thank you for having me.
So, the fact that you felt the need to do this, should we read into the fact that you don't believe there's a second-term agenda yet that Americans can wrap their head around for what a second Biden term would look like?
No. I think what you can read into that is that Biden has every right to be proud of a long series of accomplishments. You know, 2.5, 3 years ago, this country was in the worst economic downturn since the Great Depression because of COVID. Today, unemployment is all of 3%. We're gaining new jobs, rebuilding manufacturing. We've invested in the infrastructure. We're making progress, and Biden has a right to be proud of that. The point of my remarks.
Okay, let's stop it right there. Biden has a lot to be proud of. Infrastructure bill. Didn't he allow Joe Manchin to get a pipeline passed in on that infrastructure bill? Unemployment rate. Okay, maybe I'll take the 3% unemployment rate at face value, but then he's going to go on to say people are living paycheck to paycheck. We all know how many of us can't afford a $600 emergency, a $1,000 emergency. So the economy is doing so well, right? This is a bunch of bull. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. Biden has things to be proud of. Okay, didn't we lose Roe v. Wade under his presidency? What about the Willow Project? There's so much to fucking say about Biden. I cannot even... This is just the beginning, so strap in.
Is that you cannot simply, as President of the United States, rest on your laurels. What you have got to understand is that today, for structural reasons that have gone on for decades, tens and tens of millions of people are struggling to put food on the table. They can't afford health care. They can't afford prescription drugs. They can't.
But I thought you just fucking said Biden has lots of things to be proud of.
Can't afford housing. Yeah. They can't afford child care. And meanwhile, in the midst of all of that, you have incredible corporate greed, and the billionaire class has never done better. So
yeah, and I wonder how the billionaire class is doing better. Is that because you may have voted for the CARES Act, the largest fucking upward transfer of wealth in human history, Bernie? I don't fucking know.
Message yesterday for the Democrats, not just for the president, is if you want to do well in this election, talk to the needs of the American people, have the guts to take on the big money interests who have so much power.
It sounds like you don't think the phrase finish the job is something to rally around, that there needs to be more than that.
Yes, you need to recognize that not only have we accomplished a great deal in Biden's first 3 years, and he deserves credit for that, but there are so many long-term problems that this country is facing. Does anybody in America think that our healthcare system is working? Yeah. And yet the insurance companies make tens.
Okay, let's talk about that healthcare system, right? How about the fact that Joe Biden and Obama had supermajority could have passed any fucking thing they wanted, and they gave us a Republican healthcare system, a boondoggle for the freaking insurance companies. Is that something Biden should be proud of?
Of billions of dollars. Drug companies make tens of billions of dollars. We don't have enough doctors, nurses, mental health providers,
Biden, correct me if I'm wrong here, people. Biden could have gave us Medicare for all with a stroke of the pen during the pandemic through like some type of emergencies act or some shit. This is unbelievable.
Pharmacist, dentist. So we need fundamental reform in healthcare. And by the way, the existential issue of our time is whether or not we address climate change.
You just can't make this shit up, okay? Climate change. The Willow Project, okay? The freaking drilling project in the Arctic, bro. Go ask the Inuits in Alaska how that Willow Project is going on. And by the way, Bernie, if an Inuit ever out offers you a little bit of polar bear liver, why don't you just go ahead and eat that, bro?
And we have made some steps forward. But there is no question in my mind, if we're going to provide allow our kids and grandchildren to live on a healthy planet, we've got a lot more to do.
Do you think there would be a robust discussion on this on the left if there were a competitive primary? Do you think there should be?
Should there be a competitive primary? Now listen to Bernie's. Should there be a competitive primary in the Democratic Party? Listen to his answer.
Well, what I think in this particular time, this particular moment in American history, when we're taking on somebody, the former president, who in fact does not believe in democracy. He's an authoritarian and a very, very dangerous person. I think at this moment there has got to be a unification of progressive people in general all over this country, people who are prepared to make sure that women control their own body, that we deal with climate change, that we represent the needs of the world.
So, in other words, no, he does not think that there should be a fair primary. This is unbelievable. He is literally saying that because that Trump is the biggest threat to democracy, we should take out democracy in the Democratic primary. As my girl Sabby Sab says, make it fucking make sense. This makes no sense. He literally just said, do not have a legitimate primary. And this is already after the fact that they screwed him out of the primary twice, and he didn't fucking say a single word about it.
Working class of this country and take on the billionaire class.
One way that you make it clear that age isn't a factor with you is you're pretty energetic. We see you travel the country. You show up on, you do interviews. It is clearly an issue for many voters when it comes to President Biden. He's a year younger than you. Do you have advice to him on how he should assuage those concerns in the public about his age?
Look, when people look at a candidate, whether it's Joe Biden or Trump or Bernie Sanders, anybody else, they have to evaluate a whole lot of factors. I met with the president, 5 or 6 weeks ago. We had a great discussion. He seemed fine to me. But I think at the end of the...
Does Joe Biden seem fine to anybody else? Does this motherfucker look like he can walk off a stage without a seeing blind dog to help him lead the way? Bernie Sanders stands alone when he says, I think he's doing okay.
Today, what we have got to ask ourselves is, what do people stand for? Do you believe that women have a right to control their own bodies? Well, the president has been strong on that. Do you think that climate change...
All right, let's talk about the Roe v. Wade, okay? We lost that during the Biden presidency. Biden and Obama had the supermajority. They could have codified it. What is he even talking about? It gets into even more, but we're going to go on for time's sakes.
Change is real? Or do you agree with the Republicans that it's a non-issue? Do you think we should raise the minimum wage? Do you think we should reform and take on the pharmaceutical industry? So age is an issue, Chuck, but there are a lot of broader issues than just that.
Let me ask you about Cornel West. He was a co-chair of your campaign.
Now, this is going to be where Bernie, surprise, throws Cornel West under the bus, doesn't say a lick about him, doesn't support him at all. He just says, go vote for Biden.
In 2020, he's flirting with a Green Party bid for president. The numbers tell the story between 2016 and 2020. You can directly correlate the two third-party candidates, their collective total. That was the difference between Biden winning states and Clinton losing those key
That's
states.
a fucking lie.
Are you trying to discourage Cornel West from running?
Well, I've known Cornel for many, many years. He's a very independent-minded guy. He will do what he wants to do. I just think, again, I think Cornel or anybody else can play an important role now about raising issues that are not always discussed. But at the end of the day, I think the progressive community in general and the American people have got to make a decision as to whether we stand for democracy or authoritarianism, or whether or not we're going to represent working class families. And
how can he say that Trump is the biggest threat to democracy after the party that he's trying to vouch for cheated him out of becoming the Democratic nominee twice? You can't make it up, people. You just can't fucking make it up. And now he's going to go and not say a lick of anything good about Cornel or support his candidacy. You know that Cornel went out and campaigned for this motherfucker 47 times for free. For free. And now all you can see this dude is trying to sheep herd us back into a party that does nothing for our values, for the things that we want. Okay, you think that they give a shit about your body, your choice? No, they don't give a shit about it. They don't care about it, just like the Republicans don't.
One of your chief political advisors is concerned that Cornel West is being taken advantage of by maybe people that simply want his name on the ballot. Do you have those concerns?
I really haven't followed it that closely.
All right, Bernie Sanders, the independent senator.
Wow, this is just unbelievable, okay? Not to say anything good about your boy, that you're supposed to have his back. He went out there and did so much for you to try to help you in your time of need, but like a coward, you freaking bent the knee and said go vote for the people that you were criticizing for the last 6 months, okay? Now, Donald Trump isn't the biggest threat to democracy, Bernie. You are. You're trying to take all of our progressive movement, all of our progressive energy, and funnel it back into Jim Crow Joe, the guy who wrote the 1994 crime bill, the guy who did the Willow Project. You think he's better on climate change? You gotta be effing kidding me. Just look around, Bernie. We are all struggling, and it is underneath his presidency. So shame on you, okay? True courage, Bernie, is walking into a fight that you know that you're going to lose, but you go ahead and fight because it's the right thing to do. Ralph Nader had that courage back in the day, and now your supposed friend has that same courage to walk into a fight that he knows he can't win, and he knows the cross that he's going to freaking bear for it. Everybody's going to ostracize him and cast and, you know, just look down upon him and smear his name and rub him in the dirt. He knows that weight. He's going to do it, and he's going to do, and he's taking on that weight anyway. And you don't have anything for him. You can't do anything. Shame on you. I can't believe you. So we're going to wrap that up, guys. I can't believe Bernie. I'm done with this motherfucker. So tell me what you thought. Like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Later.